Hello and welcome to this video overview of TI Browser. Just in a nutshell, the whole idea behind TI Browser is it's a precompiled app. It's on the App Store right now. You can just download it, install it to your device, put in a gallery code, and then it's going to download XML and then render a UI based on that XML. So as you can see, TI Browser is a great tool for developing a UI prototype if you're going into a sales pitch or you're trying to come up with a good design that you want to present to some people. TI Browser lets you do that pretty easily just by configuring XML. We've got a GUI editor on the way, and you can just share that with other people. All they have to do is download, the iOS app, put in your gallery code, then they can see your designs. The most important thing to remember here is that it's all 100% native UI components. It's not HTML5 mockups or something that looks kind of like a native experience. It's 100% native. They're going to see exactly what the app's going to look like because it's an actual app. It uses actual iOS UI components, so it's going to look exactly like the final native app will look. So you can go through the website pretty easily yourself. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But what I did want to do is log into our maintenance portal. Like I was saying, all the whole idea behind TI Browser is it downloads XML and presents that as in a native UI in this preview engine thing, the mobile app. So what I wanted to do is just kind of have a little demonstration of the portal that you can use to maintain some of those XML files and make that maintenance a little easier. So what we see here is this is kind of a home directory in your little working area on the portal. We've got some tools here to make managing your files a bit easier. You can create directories, go into the directories, and see what files are in the different directories. So let's go into an XML file. So what we can do here is let's bring up the iOS simulator. We're going to fire up TI Browser. And what we're going to do is put in a gallery code, hit View Gallery, and then what it's doing is it's pulling down this XML file that you're looking at right now, and it's rendering it into this UI. So what we can do is, click on one of these items, and when we hit hockey, I got to go in there twice to get all the images. But what happened is when we hit this table view row, it was we've got it set up to handle click events. So when the click event is fired, it goes and looks for the index.xml file that's within the app root of the hockey directory. So it's kind of like an href, other than it just runs within this native preview app, and it's building native components. So what we can do is cancel out of this, go into this hockey folder, and then we'll see the XML file that we used to generate this screen here dynamically and pretty much on the fly. Then there's a lot of things about the editor that kind of helps some of your maintenance tasks a little easier. It's got kind of an IntelliSense thing here, so that it knows that you're in a window XML element, so it's going to show you some of the attributes that you can use there. Some of the IntelliSense things. So let's say we'd have a label, uh, element. You have a font attribute, and what it'll do when you hit the equals, it'll show you all the different values for this font attribute. Since it's a little it's not super complicated, but it's not something you're going to probably remember right off the top of your head. But then that just makes maintenance a little easier. Another thing we have is this little flyout thing that lets you, let's say you want to have a label, we'll kind of use the same label example. That just makes it even easier than typing it in from scratch. So that just makes the maintenance of these files a little easier. Now, one thing I'm going to show you that isn't publicly accessible yet, but I just want to give you kind of a taste for what's coming. We've got this GUI editor that's actually built on a kind of a neat JavaScript framework called Gridster.js, which just makes the drag and drop stuff kind of easy. But the way it works now is you can hit the button, hit the buttons over here for the type of control you want to use, and then it'll insert that control. It's not, that part of it's not drag and drop enabled yet. But what you can do is just, click on different elements and get it into this, kind of preview of the app. Then what you can do is just, kind of drag them around like this, and, things will just kind of resort themselves. You can change the sizes of controls just to kind of, get it to where you'd want it to be. And then we can kind of try to resize this guy and put him up there, and then you can kind of stretch them out again to just kind of get it where you want it to be. And then what we can do is hit serialize. What it's going to do is, this is the part where it's not quite ready for prime time. But then it'll generate all the XML that we normally would have had to type in, manually. So let's go back to the portal real quick. Let's just make a test file, call it test XML. Go in here, and then we can just, so this is what was generated when we hit that serialize button. So then what you'll be able to do is basically lay out your screen using the GUI editor, hit a generate button. It's going to generate all this XML, save it to a file. Then you'll be able to come and preview it, in the TI browser client. So it'll be, very quick and easy. You can get, 3 or 4 screens done in, 15 or 20 minutes. And then it does kind of all the hard work for you, and then you can kind of come back and customize it with the XML editor. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You can create screens kind of quickly and easily using the GUI editor, but then you still have the flexibility to go in and, update things with the XML editor just to get it exactly how you want it. So that's just a brief tour of our portal. Hope you enjoyed it, and go ahead and check out tibrowser.com.